Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is Saturday, and it is build day 29. And yes, it is build day 29, even though I couldn't figure out what build day it was yesterday for our pool construction back here. Now, the guys have not shown up yet this morning. So one of the things I'm going to do before they get in is I'm going to try finish drilling that hole in the top of the cistern. That's my project. We had a little bit of a problem yesterday. I only got about as deep as this, and the carbide tip that's on here doesn't look damaged. I don't know why. We're not hitting any steel rebar, the steel reinforced rebar, so I'm not really sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another bit, try to break up some of the area around, and maybe go back and use that circle cutter and try to get through the top of that cistern. Now I'm hoping that I can get that pipe laid, we can cover it up, seal it, so we're done with that part of the project. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get today started. Now without further delay, let's get today's video underway. I'm quite in a multitasking mode this morning. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder here. I'm trying to watch one of my other vlogger friends' channel right now. That's Greg Coonard up there on Oz by Drone. He talks about drone technology. As you know, we often connect with Art Carlson from Artco Drone Solutions, and we visit his and our guest on his show from time to time. I was invited to be on Greg's show this morning, but I had to let Greg know we have this going on, and I think it was just a little bit too much to be able to do that and this. I can't multitask that much. So let's go ahead and get over to the area of the cistern, try to get that hole done, and we're still waiting on the pool team to show up. All right, so the pool crew are here. They're ready to start, and they are happy that I was able to get the hole completed. So you can see we are now through. There's just enough room for the 2-inch pipe to go down inside there. They will seal around the edge of it to make sure no mud or nothing can penetrate and go inside from this bed. We don't want muddy water inside our cistern. So they will close that out. They'll make an elbow. The elbow will come here and lead to the overflow inside the one day to come, the skimmer. So that being done, we can move on to the next task. Now, Obing just explained to me what they're going to use to seal the 2-inch PVC into the top of the cistern so that we don't get any leaking from the garden inside to our good water. He's going to use this compound right here. It's by a company called Holiday. I'm sure the instructions are on here, and we'll just kind of keep an eye when they do that so we can kind of get an idea of how you can seal your pipe going into any type of a concrete structure. It sort of looks like almost like marine epoxy is what that looks like. Yeah, it looks just like marine epoxy. Now, one thing I noticed this morning is we were tossing some of the soil on top of the sod. Well, first of all, we want to keep the sod, but it doesn't matter whether we want to keep the sod or not. If you have any type of a foundation that you are expecting to use the base underneath it, basically something like soil, to be able to support a little bit of the weight of your foundation, your slab, especially if it's a very thin slab, you want to make sure you have all soil or gravel, something that you can compact down. You don't want to leave sod underneath it, because sod will become a compost. It will break down, and you will lose on the amount that you have right there. You will probably lose on an area that's maybe 2 inches. You'll lose at least half of that, and there'll be a void underneath your slab, and you don't want that. You don't want anything that could potentially act like a hole, and if you step on your slab, it will break. Now, as we mentioned yesterday about waterproofing of the waterfall, this is the very first waterproofing that we're starting today. And they're using the Bostik Power Mix solution brushed on, and this will help prevent any of the moisture, any type, whether it's the rain, whether it's the water coming from the waterfall, from penetrating and going down inside the life support system, which houses the pump, the filter, and the electrical for the lighting. So as you can see, after the top of the waterfall slab was done with waterproofing, or at least the first layer of waterproofing, they're starting to do the walls on the inside. They went around and they smoothed everything down, and now they're applying the first coat. It's a three coat process. So now on the second coat here, you're probably noticing that this is a little bit darker of a color than the first color, which was the 1-to-1, the Bostik and the water. Now the second waterproofing layer, you can see that wall is getting dark because it's just a slightly different recipe. The recipe on that one also includes the Portland cement mix on top of the original first coat layer. The consistency when they mix it inside there of the Portland added to it. It's supposed to be like more of a consistency of paint instead of watery. Well, it is just after lunch and the wind has picked up a little bit. We got a little bit of rain. You can see just starting here. Hopefully it's just something temporary. No real dark clouds, but those kind of clouds that look like it could possibly drop very light rain most of the rest of the afternoon. And that's your normal, typical rainy season type of a day here in the Philippines. So let's talk about what the focus is right now. On top of working on the waterproofing, you can see all the darker gray area there. That is on the second layer of the waterproofing that they're doing on that part of the swimming pool. Now what they're working over here, they're doing the sidewalk, the small sidewalk that goes around the edge of the swimming pool. Typical construction that I see over here. The gravel, 3/4 inch gravel underneath the bottom, a little bit of rebar for support, and that's normally what they use. They left a hole over there in the area where the skimmer is going to go, so that will drop down. They will use a heavy duty type of a plastic, professional type of skimmer that will go in both the locations over there and over here. Now let's take one quick look over at where the overflow pipe goes into the cistern. I just wanted to show you they did a really good job with the waterproofing to make sure nothing slides in there, such as mud or any water or dirty water going down inside the cistern. So they did a waterproofing underneath the bottom using something very similar to marine epoxy underneath the bottom, and then what they did on top of it, I can tell that is not standard concrete mix. That's cementous waterproofing cement that they put on there, or it's like a mortar mix. So we'll have no problem with the penetration hole. That worked perfectly. Something else I want to mention that they did earlier, just before lunch, and I didn't capture them doing the chipping, but right along the edge of these footer support columns here, they rounded it off because it's going to be covered with basically like a plaster coat like you see over there, then waterproof. But I wanted to make sure, as many of you had made comments, observed and made comments, is that it is nice and rounded. There's no sharp edges there. This also has been done. They've chipped there. There you can see much of the chipping is being cleaned up right now. So this area, because this is also going to be, it's going to be stonework right here. It's not going to be mosaic tile here. The rest of the pool is all mosaic, but on the column support for the footers, those are going to be a very nice natural looking stone to blend in with the natural theme that we're trying to go here with nature. And they will be rounded going around there, so you won't have to worry about bumping and hurting yourself if you bump into one of the columns inside the swimming pool. Also interested in, you'll see for the electrical connection for the lights, what they do is they cut off the PVC conduit, just like this right here, and then they'll run the wires that go into the DC, the 12 volt DC lights that go inside here. I've never seen it done before in a swimming pool, and we'll just follow along once they get to that point, how they actually install the lighting in the pool. So anyway, the contractor has arrived today, and he brought some samples. We have some samples. We have some samples for the pebble rock. We have to choose a pebble rock for the coping and for the base of the 5-inch and the 10-inch section, because you remember that's supposed to simulate a beachfront where you just walk off of the land right into the beach. And we're also picking out tile. We're looking at some samples of tiles. He sent me some pictures, and I sort of pre-approved what I liked on the pictures and the photos. So we went through several. He has a bag. He has like some white over there. They have some that looks a little, no, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. There was some that had like a reddish, like a red clay. If you've ever been in Atlanta, Georgia, it had that color red. But I think what we're going to do, this right here has a good mixture of the tan, the beige, a little bit of the lighter color, and just a little bit of accent with some of the dark. You see there's some dark inside here. Now, I like this because these are soft rounded, and these will be good on your feet. So just imagine this as the floor of the 5-inch and the 10-inch section to look like the sandy beach. Now, since this is going to be underwater all the time, I'm going to go ahead and select this also for the coping up here. Oh yeah, well, so here's the other colors that we had to select from right here. So you can see, this is the one I was saying looks like Georgia clay. And that's a nice color, but we're trying to stay, we're not trying to look like Arizona or Georgia clay or anything like that. And there's a lighter color here, and this is some like coral. There's some coral colors in here. And this might actually do good for the base of here, of this section right here. We might have to readjust that. And this is very similar. This is very similar to this rock here, but this has sharp edges. There's a lot of little tiny sharp, and they come, when you buy pebble rock, they come in different grades, and it has to do with the size of the pebble. And this one's a little bit smaller than this one right here. Again, I like this because it will be softer on the feet, and they're nice and rounded, almost like river rock. And then you have this one over here. I call it salt and pepper. It's just a little bit too much white and black contrast, so I can't imagine using that anywhere here. So again, this is my favorite out of all. You let me know what you think. Out of all of these, which ones you guys like. So after some careful review, and I went up and I spoke with Ness over here. She has to have input on colors, just like picking out colors for a house. What we ended up deciding, and I think it's a good choice, instead of using this for both the slab, the sandy beach slab, and the coping, what we're going to do, we're going to use this for a little bit more contrast on the coping, only the coping, but we're going to go with this. It looks like white sand beach. And Alvin, the contractor here, was telling me they can use a cement that has a lighter color cement inside there, a little bit more of a white inside there to complement the lighter color of this. And this actually, if you look at it, there's some parts in here from the sea. This actually came from the sea. You see the little things that look like stuff from the sea. So we'll do that, and I think that's a good choice. Again, let me know what you all think. Hey buddy, you're free. So what does that mean? It means that the workers are gone. So you can actually go and have some fun and run around. Yes, that's what it means. It means the workers are gone for the day, but it is too windy and it is too wet, and we're not going to be able to do a drone bird's eye view today. It's just too risky to put the drone up in the air right now. It might fly away. The wind gusts have been coming up pretty heavy right now. I think we might have a little bit of a storm this evening. So let's go ahead and do our wrap up for today. I think we have enough feature rich content for today, especially talking about some of the decisions we're making with regard to the pebble rock and the other things that we're talking about for the swimming pool. I'm so excited that the contractor and the foreman have decided to go with natural stone. This is what I said to them, and it was kind of funny. Well, I thought it was kind of funny. I hope they found it funny. I said, you know, I really didn't want to go with the concrete mixture and trying to detail it with the acid staining and all the process that you try to make concrete look like natural stone. I said the only thing that's really better than natural looking stone is natural stone itself, and they said that's what they're going to do. So I'm really interested to see what they pick out, the size of the boulders, the shape of the boulders. But from everything I've seen so far, this company is top-notch, and I think they're going to deliver a great swimming pool with great features. And we'll see when they get it. The tile should be in, I think, tomorrow or the next day. I think that's what Alvin told me today. It was supposed to be in today, or they said sometime after Saturday, which today is Saturday. So we should be seeing that mosaic tile here any day. And I think by the end of next week, you will see mosaic tile going into the swim. So let's go ahead and do a wrap up here, like I said, and let's look and see what was accomplished today. Now remember, at the beginning of the day, it was waterproofing. You can see all the dark areas of the wall all the way around on the 4-foot section, the 5-foot section, waterproofing, and on the deck of the waterfall. But they also worked on a little bit of chipping on the footer column support right there and the one over there, where they chipped off around the edges so that we have a nice rounded installation of the type of stonework that we're going to put on. So there will be no sharp edges inside there. Let's go around the other side of the pool and look inside just a little bit more. Something they worked on today. We wanted to chip off that excess concrete that was on the base of the footer support here for the bridge, and that's what they did. They knocked a lot of it off. So what they will be doing pretty soon, in the next day or so, they will be covering this area right here with something that looks like the plaster coat, like you see there. And then once that all dries a bit, I imagine what they'll do is the same waterproofing there on this section right here. Now we still have buildup. It has to be done in this section. Remember, we talked about this the other day. We're not going to leave this at like a 20-degree angle. We're going to do about a 90-degree angle. They're going to fill. So this will be filled in right here, and this will be part of the plastic coat on the outside here as well. And this being rounded, we will just round a little bit of our stonework that will go along for the base. We also talked today about what we want to choose for the side of the pool. This portion right here, we're going to have something that looks like wood planks that goes across the top here. This section right here, I asked if we could just continue the stonework that goes here along for this base that will go up underneath what looks like the wood plank. I think that'll be a nice finish because we're also using it there. We're also using it on the outside of places like here for where the little sidewalk goes around and it drops down. So you'll have the coping that comes out here, where it drops down to the little sidewalk area right here. This little drop down right here will be the same stonework that goes for the sidewalk area. That's the same stonework that goes in all the little feature areas, like our little planter. And something else I wanted to show you. You can see these two boxes right here. These are our skimmers. You see, it's a Hayward skimmer. Hayward makes bunch of the pool accessories, pumps, filters. They're probably one of the leaders in the industry, and they're also, we should have a couple of boxes around here somewhere, and the boxes are two ladders. I don't know where they put them. Maybe they're underneath the bottom. I don't know. They are around here somewhere. Oh, here they are on the side. So these are our ladders, our two ladders for the swimming pool. The one that comes from the outside and one that goes from the 10-inch section down into the 4-foot section. What they provided is a 2-step and a 3-step ladder for those two areas, over there and over there. And we also made our selection of our pebble rock that we're going to be using for the floor of the 10-inch and the 5-inch section, as well as the coping. Remember, we're doing the light. It's going to look like a white sandy beach for these two areas right here. And then we're going to use the pebble rock that has a little bit different of a contrast for all the coping that goes all the way around, and the coping that will be done on the planter there as well. It'll be the same darker tan type of sandy looking pebble rock for the coping and the coping there. Now, we also did some of the little sidewalk that goes for the entry that brings you into the swimming pool over there. They poured some of that concrete as well. So a lot of progress today, a lot of progress. So I'm not going to really even try to guess what is going to be done tomorrow. We'll just follow along, and as they're doing things, we'll just follow along and see what they're doing. Today was kind of interesting. because of the waterproofing. We talked a little bit about the 3 layers and the mixtures, the little recipe that they use for their waterproofing. Now I'm going to learn from what they showed me today, because I have a couple of waterproofing projects that I need to do in a couple of spots in our house. One has to do with our sump that's inside the basement. Although we don't have any problems with water getting into the basement, I did notice that our contractor that built our house, he put 0 waterproofing on the walls inside there. It is just plaster coat, and as the water table rises, some of the water through capillary action starts penetrating and pushing through. So I'm going to use these guys' techniques to fix that area as well. Maybe I'll get with the contractor or the foreman and see if I can get them to help out with that as well. Now I also want to thank you for all the really kind comments and the observations and the questions and the suggestions and the recommendations in the comment section and via email as well. It all helps. I read them all. I might not respond right away, but they are in the back of my mind. And if I have an opportunity and I'm not quite so busy, I try to do a comprehensive reply to any of those questions that people send emails or with comments. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy today's episode, please give me a thumbs up, please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MPID dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.